Let's start with Kentucky. How did this team look? A quick snapshot on how these teams could look for the rest of the season. I don't think that's going to be really that big of a case between both of these teams. I think we're going to see both the quarterbacks back next week. But if there was another injury concern for Kentucky with Will Levis, they're absolutely doomed. This team looked completely different without Will Levis under center. Really makes you think how good Levis is succeeding with that team, because the quarterback just had a really tough time. I mean, he couldn't get anything going. That offensive line couldn't find a way to protect him. Now, the offensive line gives me some questions and some really concerns, Steve, and makes you wonder if that's the O-line all year. Will Levis is making magic happen with an empty hat. I mean, he's doing some impressive stuff. I understand now why some of the scouts think he's the best quarterback in all the nation. The defense did not look pretty either, though. But let's focus on the quarterback side. Let's start with Kentucky first. What was your thoughts on this team, especially with Levis not being there?
Kentucky literally fumbled away their SEC East title hopes on the very first play of the game. The very first play of the game, they fumbled and lost the ball. I had never really heard much about Kaya Sharon until he played that game. He did not seem comfortable at any point, and it wasn't just because the offensive line wasn't pass blocking well. I mean, Chris Rodriguez, their big star running back, and he's probably going to be an NFL back, is another NFL prospect here down the road. He did his part. I mean, he averaged 5.7 yards a carry over 22 carries. So it wasn't that bad. You know, they were able to kind of keep the defense honest. He just wasn't able to capitalize. He wasn't making throws. He just never looked comfortable. Now, that's easy for me to say, some short, fat 62-year-old guy that's never played even high school football, let alone major college football. So I can sit here and criticize and say, well, he didn't look very comfortable. But certainly if I'm a Kentucky Wildcat fan, I'm not feeling really hopeful after next year. The defensive struggles surprise me. You know, they're a physical defense. You know, they try to play smash mouth, intimidating kind of a defense, and it just hasn't seemed to be showing up the last couple of weeks. So I'm not quite sure what happened there, but yeah, Levis has to come back. But now the thing to think about is, now that you know you're not going to really contend for the SEC East, and you're probably out of contention now for a New Year's Six Bowl. If there is any doubt with Levis about whether he's questionable for a game, he's got a pro career. I mean, do you put him out there if he's not 80%? You know, do you put him out there just to salvage, you know, your season to a degree that you had much higher hopes for? That's what I wonder about.
I think that we will probably be in that predicament when we get to December. I think that will probably be a question that we talk about. Will Levis actually play? Well, I'm sure that he won't be the only name that we have on that list because of that same predicament. Yeah, Will Levis, to me, I mean, once you see him go, Kentucky is going to have a hard time. The quarterback that played on Saturday, I'm pretty sure he just played himself out of being the starter for next year. Kentucky's going to probably look for the transfer portal for next season for this quarterback. That fumble you said, they fumbled out of the SEC championship, first play of the game. It was off this weird reverse. They don't probably make that play if Levis is under center.